RPGs for mobile devices do go a long way, be it the classic games, realistic ones, hack and slasher, and last but not least, MMORPGs. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today on Mobile Game Zone, we're going to be looking at some of the biggest role-playing games in development for mobile devices that are going to be released either later this year or up early 2023. Let's go. At number 1, and this has actually been in the making for 3 years already, just in case you missed it. We have something going by the name Doe KV, which is an open world MMORPG, as was previously stated by developers, and now a somewhat monster-catching, collecting action RPG. Well, something in the same vein, I'm assuming you've already guessed, Pokemon Arceus, except from Perlebiz, which is mainly an MMORPG game developer. It is said to be coming to PCs and consoles and the mobile devices as well, sometime next year.
Perhaps just a misfortune, and a belief that life will always deliver.
Coming up behind that by NPixel from literally 4 years ago, we have Chrono Odyssey over here, which is a space-time MMORPG, or so as its developer describes it. And believe it or not, despite the graphics that you can see, this one is actually coming to iOS and Android devices at first, and eventually for PCs and other consoles as well. All of this is apparently happening by the end of this year. Frankly, I don't know how a regular phone will support this one, but this is actually an exploration base, and the game is even being built using Unreal Engine 4. Check it out. At number 3, we have something called Dragonair, well, Silent Gods. This is a party-based MMORPG, and all about player freedom, as according to developers. Game's story actually progresses through a non-linear mission system with a ton of side quests and puzzles. Apparently it is even taking cues from Diablo games, except it's like a dice-based formula. So pretty much it's like Dungeons and Dragons and some semi-real-time strategy combats. And yeah, Dragonair Silent Gods will be running a few tests pretty soon and releasing early to mid 2023. Crystal of Atlan, on the other hand, is a dungeon crawling action RPG, not an MMO, not an open world as far as I'm concerned, but one that will have large-scale dungeons to roam around. Frankly, not much is revealed about this one so far, except you can see it is a manga style and taking inspiration from games like Phantasy Star Online that just came out, the second game. And last but not least, in case you're hyped about, the game is only rumored to be released in about a few months.
Experience. This, coupled with a rich storyline and puzzles, means that you are in for a series of highly immersive adventures. With the guidance of your guild, scour the floating continent of Atlan to discover the ancient civilization of the Magisters and unveil the truth behind the Crystal of Atlan. COA is now open for pre-order on TapTap. Our next testing is planned for the second half of the year. Please stay tuned.
Unexpected actions in seamless dungeons. Enjoy the fight.
At number 5, it's the old Zenless Zone Zero from last year. It's a free-to-play action game from the team behind Genshin Impact, so obviously one with RPG elements and a beautifully crafted world to explore too. Technically, what the company MiHoYo is actually really good at, except this game has some sort of a futuristic theme at its core and it's about future, probably on another planet as well. That said, Triple Z is at the moment holding a beta and set to be released very soon, so keep it in mind.
燃やしましょう。レッツゴー。最終ターゲット排除。
At number 6, now that we've actually mentioned Zenless Zone Zero, you might also want to know that we have something here called Hongkai Starrail, which is once again by the same developers, MiHoYo, and just very much in the same vein as Genshin Impact. This is a turn-based strategy RPG and personally speaking reminds me a little bit of Tales of Arise. It's just a console game. The Honkai is apparently more of a story-heavy game and with a linear gameplay style. Check it out, the release date for this one is also yet to be announced.
Reach the end of the story in your own way.
At number 7, and I don't really know how I've actually missed out on the opportunity to mention this one before, we have a Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis by Square Enix that's been hanging in the air since a few months ago as a role-playing game that will receive a monthly episodic installments and updates. What gameplay-wise would be a mix of old classic Final Fantasy game of the PlayStation 1 and the new generation one that came out last year. Just take a look. Ever Crisis will actually be a free-to-play game all the way and is set to have a closed beta shortly. Summoner's War Chronicles, on the other hand, is an MMO gacha, believe it or not a turn-based, but a real-time RPG, and pretty much an open world to some portions. I don't know. Well, the gameplay is similar to Genshin Impact. I would assume the rest is pretty much question. I'm not sure. I do believe a beta for the game is being held at the moment and the full game releases for iOS and Android sometime next year. Alright guys, I would say probably my favorite game today would be Hit 2, which is, well, obviously the sequel to the action RPG Hit game, and now an MMORPG. Hit, by the way, that stands for Heroes of Incredible Tales, which is not to mention currently in development by Knack Games, who works under Nixon, which is a huge mobile game developer, just in case you didn't know. This game is even being built with the use of Unreal Engine 4. It is coming to Android first, and a release date for it, however, is still yet to be announced. At number 10, we have yet another ARPG hack and slasher going by the name Awaken, Astral Blade, that, well, seems to be taking inspiration from games like Castlevania, well, Bloodstained to be specific, in which you do play as a girl who is infested with an alien parasite that seems to make her able to have supernatural powers. Here's a trailer. Game set to be coming to Android devices and PCs only sometime later this year. At 11, and this is just a quick reminder, y'all, developers of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, they just confirmed that the game is undergoing a beta in about a few days from now, and the full game will eventually release October this year. You can actually sign up for the pre-register for it on TapTap, and just in case you're wondering, the game is just like Kingdom Hearts Union X and Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, fully rendered in 3D though, and have an identical gameplay to the series' action-based console games.
スカラアドカエルム子はやがて衆となり結社を組織した。継ぐ者の結社、継がざる者の結社、いくつもの衆は都市を巡る血脈のようにこの世界に張り巡らされていた。他ならぬ君がこの世界に目覚めたのは漆黒の空に美しく歪んだ星の降る夜だった。
Moving on, well, by Kuro Games, we just got a new gameplay trailer for Wuthering Waves. That was announced actually earlier this year, an open world action RPG, once again quite similar to Genshin Impact, be it the visuals, the characters, and etc. Except the game seems to have a somewhat interesting traveling system. Anyway, Wuthering Waves is coming to Android, iOS, PCs, and other consoles as well around December this year. At 13, it's the old Netmarble's Seven Knights Revolution, which is an MMORPG based on the anime show Seven Knights Revolution that pretty much has it all, or technically the basic RPG mechanics. It even features boss fights, PvP and PvE battles, some really good graphics though for a mobile game. Well, in case you're in Korea, the game is pretty much available for you, but the English version of it is set to come out around November this year. This has actually been in the making for a year now. Well, coming up we have Odin Valhalla Rising, some of you might have been already familiar with, but for those of you wondering, yes, previously titled Project Odin and now in development for all platforms, be it the consoles and the mobile devices, as a fully open world Norse mythology inspired action RPG. Technically, this is how the final game's supposed to look like. The good news is you can actually pre-register the game right now, and rumors has it it'll be releasing by the end of 2022 as a fully free-to-play game. Check it out.
小心，站我身后。
And last but not least, we have us a little bit of a Cat Planet. What is called Cat Planet was this is a turn-based role-playing game that was announced around July this year by a Chinese developer. I'm not really sure, but I do believe that the game is out in its beta phase out in China itself only and set to be released worldwide in about a few months from now.